Hello everyone, my name is Gabby, and let's review Dragon Ball Super Episode 2. Sorry if I sound a bit off, I have a little bit of a cold. I don't know if that's going to affect my talking. I hope it doesn't. So the whole point of this episode is to introduce the second main character of this story, Vegeta, and his family. In this episode, Vegeta goes out to an amusement park with Bulma and Trunks, apparently because of the promise he made him back at the start of the Buu saga, where he said, "If you punch me in the face, then I'll take you to the amusement park for an hour." And Trunks punched him in the face. They go shopping and eating and on rides, but Vegeta has started to get annoyed that Goku is off training at King Kai's planet and he's probably getting stronger without him. Eventually, it all becomes too much after he gets hassled a bit at some show that they all went to, and Vegeta flies off to continue his training in Bulma's house at Calpsicorp with the gravity training and all the little pods and stuff. But Bulma and Trunks comment that for Vegeta, even staying with them for that long was quite an accomplishment for him. Vegeta, Father of the Year. Meanwhile, in space, Beerus and Whis find another planet for dinosaur meat that Beerus wants to have, but then Beerus decides it's not worth the hassle and he ends up destroying it. But through the explosion, he suddenly remembers the dream he had. The dream of some powerful warrior that could challenge even him, the Super Saiyan God. That's all he remembers. So they decide to go back home to think about it. And the episode ends with the Elder Kai explaining that Beerus, the God of Destruction, has awoken. So, what did I like about this episode? A lot of things, actually. I feel like it was a lot better constructed than the last episode. There's a lot more sort of things that were leading into things that are going to happen later on. So it felt a lot less sort of fillery than episode 1. And I did like all the moments with Vegeta and Bulma and Trunks. They weren't as crazy or as comical as I was expecting, and honestly, I almost preferred that. It was a lot more sort of subtle. They actually felt like a real family, even if they're all really crazy. And it wasn't just like every time they go out, they go on some crazy adventure. They were just sitting there, going to an amusement park, having fun, and well, Vegeta wasn't really. Trunks and Bulma having fun, and Vegeta's just sort of sitting there being like, why am I here instead of training? It felt like an even more realistic approach compared to what I was expecting it to be, and that's something I even enjoyed even more. The other thing I enjoyed about this episode was surprisingly the continuity. I was almost expecting Dragon Ball Super to basically ignore everything that happened in like Dragon Ball because they're making their own, they're making their own show. But I mean, first of all, Vegeta went to the amusement park because of that promise he made in the Buu saga, which was just a cutaway. It was just a joke, just to show that like Vegeta has this really weird parenting. He's like, yes, if you punch me in the face, then I will take you to the amusement park. And then Trunks punches him in the face, and then Vegeta punches back, because he didn't promise he wouldn't hit back. But that was just really good. I was really surprised that they would reference earlier material, especially this is material that wouldn't have been aired for quite a long time. So it makes me realize that, okay, so people in Toei, and Toriyama as well, depending on who wrote this episode, people there actually do remember what happened in Dragon Ball. They're not just purposely ignoring it like they did with other filler. And not to mention, they were talking a lot about pretty much the aftermath of the Buu saga. Bulma mentions that Vegeta has changed ever since he fought Buu. I don't know if she means before, like when he initially fought Buu and then he decided to sacrifice himself for everyone, or whether it was just the fight with Kid Buu when he accepted that Goku was stronger than him. But either way, it's true. His character did change after the Buu saga, and it's great that we were actually able to acknowledge that, because that's the kind of thing they wouldn't normally have time to actually say. This is something only Super could really do. Also, the fight scene, there was a little bit more action in this episode than there was in episode 1. Not much, but there was a little bit. And there was some really cool animations, like one where there was that dinosaur and then it breathes fire, and it was like so smooth and cool looking, and it's making me really excited for like what happens when the crazy fight scenes start. With that kind of animation, it's gonna look so good. As for what I didn't like in this episode, well, once again, it's honestly getting to the point that the scenes with Beerus and Whis, at least for the first 2 episodes, didn't really have a purpose. They almost were filler. They were just sort of there to show how, I guess it was to introduce Beerus and Whis' characters, because they are going to be important in Battle of Gods. But you could have taken them out a lot of the time, and you could have just made it just like Battle of Gods, where Beerus wakes up, remembers Super Saiyan God, and then you can skip straight to episode 3. But after all, filler is not always bad. It can often be enjoyable. Like, everyone loves the driving car episode. And that is filler. There was also the thing about Vegeta's outburst in the end, and him deciding the problem was, at the end of the Boo saga, he did have that whole speech that, yes, Kakarot, you're better than me. And I know he does acknowledge it. He does say, I have acknowledged that Goku is the strongest Saiyan. And that's another part of continuity that I did like, they did address. But then they are saying that, like, oh, even though I said that Kakarot is stronger than me, still, I still want to surpass him. I still want to get stronger than him. And I mean, I get why they did that. Having Vegeta not have that desire to become stronger than Goku sort of makes his character, like, bland. But it's kind of a shame that, Vegeta is still in that mindset of, like, I'm just going to keep getting stronger than you, Goku. But at least now it's like, I'm going to get stronger than you, Goku, because I want to, and not, I want to get stronger than you, Goku, so I can kill you, and then become the strongest in the universe, and then after that, I don't know. At least now he's not in the mindset of, I'm going to take over the universe anymore. So that's one good thing. As for what I'm looking forward to next episode, so we're going to get Bulma's birthday party on a cruise ship. It's going to be a little bit different, and from what I can tell, next episode is going to be somewhat a bit of filler, but there is going to be a bit more Beerus and Whis, and we're going to go and get to see a whole bunch of the other characters, like all the other humans, and Krillin and his family. So that'll be cool. I wonder what Krillin and 18's family is going to be like. Are they going to expand more in their relationship? Because that would be cool. That is a relationship we have not seen enough of in the show. Like, partly because it came way too late, but also it's a thing that I'm actually really curious. What's Krillin going to be like? What's 18 going to be like? What is Marin going to be like if Marin has a personality other than just being a really young child at this point? So, Dragon Ball Super Episode 2. I did enjoy it. I mean, we're definitely, it's pretty much confirmed now. This is a retelling of Battle of Gods, but now I've got to the point that I realize that's not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that this is set 6 months after Boo, not as opposed to like 5 years, it makes everything feel a lot tighter and a lot more just sort of wound together and a lot more connected to the Boo saga. So it feels like this is sort of an aftermath of what happened, even if it's not. And that's what I've been enjoying about Dragon Ball Super so far. That and the improved characterization. It's been great. Like, it doesn't feel like a series of gags anymore. It feels like a bunch of real authentic characters who are just going around their everyday lives, and it doesn't feel like they're, being really stupid or dumb or anything, and it's been really great. So, this is Gabby, signing out, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys!